Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Angela. And if you watched any of my channel, you would know that the past life oracle cards by Doreen Virtue and Brian L. Weiss is the one deck that I would pay a lot of money for. Maybe $50-$60. However, I came onto the scene with tarot and oracle long after Doreen Virtue, the whole thing with her happened. I don't even know all the details. All I know is she went back to Christianity or whatever the case may be. But she quit making the decks. And this is literally the one deck of hers that I wanted since I began my tarot journey. But even before that, when I started my spiritual journey, I wanted this deck for past life work. And you see 3 different versions of it here because I've been on a little journey with this deck myself. When I first saw the deck, I figured out it was out of print. It's one of many that's out of print of hers. Every time I've seen this deck, it's a minimum of $150 everywhere. And I didn't know when I bought this on Wish that it was a knockoff. It's playing card size. Here's the box. It doesn't come with a book. It comes with a QR code to download the book. The cards are like literally playing card size. They've got this gilding that is like flakes off and chips away. You can tell it's super cheap. The cards are actually pretty good for shuffling, for riffle shuffling and stuff. But what I've gathered is the images aren't as bright as they should be. Now, I was okay with this deck, except, I mean, it's got a few dents and scrapes on it coming from China, which is where the knockoff came from. These are the backs. So I really use it because I know in my mind it's a knockoff. So a couple weeks ago, I was browsing Etsy and I came across this Russian version. And I even posted it on like Lavender Moon's a Facebook group and a couple other groups. It was like, anybody buy a deck that's in another language if it's cheaper. And they're like, yeah, if you can get it cheaper and it's a legit version of the deck, why not? So I paid $38 for this. I'm like, that's a good deal considering it's out of stock. And, you know, you can't get it anywhere I've seen it for almost $700 too. It's crazy. So I'm like, why not? So I bit the bullet. It was $25 and the rest was shipping from Russia. I got it super quick in like 7 days. And the first thing I noticed was when I got the box is the box is very cardboardy. It's not a typical, like what I deemed as Oracle deck box. It's literally like somebody built it and put it together and put the images on there. It's super cardboardy. The book is super thin. Of course, I wouldn't need that. And I actually downloaded the QR version of this one because I knew I would get this one. And I don't know Russian. I was, however, sorely disappointed in the cards. They're normal size. It's a bit faded on this side, but they're, as you can tell, already bowed. There's no gilding on the side, which is what I look for because I know I've seen so many walkthroughs of this deck because I've wanted it for so long that I knew it was supposed to be gilded. I'm not one for cardstock, but if you can tell here, it looks like somebody put this on like poster board. And there's a few dings and nicks on it as well. And this was actually shrink wrapped. So nobody else has touched it but me. Unless they have a shrink wrap machine in there and they just, you know, did it themselves after it's been used. But, yeah, it looks like somebody did this off poster board or something. It feels like straight up cardboard, like a box. It makes my hands feel funny. The images are brighter, more in line with what they're supposed to be. Now, I'm not saying this is a knockoff, but I am saying that it is not what I thought it would be when I got it. um, I was very disappointed because I'm like, oh, finally I was getting this deck and I wasn't. And like I said, it could be the way the Russian version is made. Because I know some are made differently, but I hated the fact that it felt like cardboard in my hands. It does shuffle really well. It's just some of the, like even the back here, it's more vibrant here, which is what I know it's supposed to be. But I also know it's supposed to be glossy, and it's not. So I was heartbroken. I was like, I don't know if I got a knockoff or not. If somebody else just took me for a ride. So, and the Wish version, I paid like $4 for this version. And I'm like, I'm never going to be satisfied until I have this deck. I realized that after I got the appropriate size. At one point, I was like, if I can meld these two together, it would be the perfect deck. Because the gilding, the cardstock feels great. The backs are nice. This is more faded, but the images on this side are brighter than this one. It's like they're supposed to be. But even this one, there's a card in here, and I'm not going to be able to find it. It's almost like they painted it on because there's like glob of paint, which is the same color in the corner. I think it's the Orphan card. But I'm like, what is this? Like, it feels very weird to me. So that's the Russian version. So I was so disappointed. I was like, I feel like I'm done with this deck. I don't even want it now at this point. But something told me the night I got this deck, which was last week. Like I said, it came in like 7 days from Russia. And I have another deck that took forever. That's 3.5 hours from me, which I will go over that deck here in a minute because I just got it today as well after 2 attempts to send it to me. But something told me to go back on Etsy and look at this deck. And I'm like, okay. So I went back on Etsy and I'm like, there's nothing different than what I've seen. It looks like it online. It looks like a legitimate version. It's just a Russian version of it. But below that, and I had been on Etsy hundreds of times looking for this deck, the legitimate version, because there's so many out there. And I'm going to tell you, I've looked and looked and looked. If it doesn't come with the book, it's a knockoff. If it doesn't come gilding, it's a knockoff. The only reason I'm questioning the Russian version is because it is a Russian version. So they may not have made it exactly how it's supposed to be. That I know the American version is. Because I've seen so many walkthroughs. But people are like, oh, I love this deck. It didn't come with the book. Well, if it didn't come with the book, it's not the legitimate version. I found that through many, many, many searches and many, many investigations into this deck. If it doesn't come with a book, it's not a real deck. It's not the real thing. So I get this, and even the box looks legit, but it's like this flimsy, cardboardy mess, and it's awful. Awful. And I was so upset. And like I said, something told me to go on to Etsy and look at the deck again. So I looked at the deck, and I've been on there so many times. I know it wasn't on there, but I go on there, and below that is another shop selling this deck for $12. And I'm like, this can't be the real deck. So I questioned her. I actually saw photos on there where she showed the box and the book and the edging, the whole nine. And I'm like, well, it's $12. It's cheaper than what I just paid for this, so I'll buy it. With shipping, it was $16 altogether. She shipped this Monday, and it's Thursday. I got it today. She's in the States, and I think it was just somebody wanting to get rid of their deck that they weren't using anymore. But as I said, third time's a charm. I finally got the deck. It's the Past Life Oracle cards by Dorian Virtue and Brian L. Weiss, MD. Comes in a hard box. It's got the pull thing here. As you can tell, it's a Hay House deck. Right off the bat, as soon as I pulled it out of the packaging, I saw that, and I'm like, yeah, it's a legit version. It was out of order, but yeah, and they did a really good job. The other part of the box is yellow, I think. No, it's white. So the Russian version is white, but they did a really good job on it. Beautiful. hard 2-part box. Love it. Just like any Oracle deck I've gotten from Hay House. The book, I don't even think it's ever been opened. It's brand spanking new. And I saw that. I was just so flipping excited. You guys have no idea how excited I am. And then, of course, the second thing I checked was the gilding. And that is an awesome gilding. Awesome gilding right there. It's perfect. There's a little, looks like that one's chipped and that one's chipped there. But I don't care. Like, I finally got the legit 3rd time's a charm version of this deck for $12. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. So technically this deck that's been going around for $150 to almost $700, I got on Etsy as a fluke for $12, and it was the only one she had. So if you guys want this deck, I'm sorry, good luck, because yeah, I haven't been able to get it. And I just noticed with the backs here, I'm pulling out the Russian version, it actually has dark edges here on the Russian version, and then my not real knockoff doesn't have it, but this one has these really cool darker tones around the edge, which I love it. And if you can't tell, it's glossy. I love it. And it comes with a blank card, which I knew it did, but I hadn't seen people show that in their walkthroughs. So it had slipped my mind. So when I got it, I'm like, I know this is a legit version now because it comes with the blank card and it's glossy and the cardstock is fan-flipping-tastic. So I'm just going to run through these cards real quick and look at that. I can't stop looking at it. I'm like, it's beautiful. So beautiful. I'm just going to flip through them real quick. Everybody has seen this deck. But it being a legit version of it, just the cardstock and the coloration is so different from these other two that I have. I love it. And this is why I wanted this deck, because I knew I would love it. And I just needed the legit US version of this deck. And I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it so much. I'm so excited. Yeah, I love that it's glossy. It reminds me of my Halloween Oracle. But I used the knockoff version, the little version, with my Stretch Tarot spread that I did for past lives, and it was remarkable. So I can't wait to actually use a legit version of this deck with past life readings. I'm just so stinking excited. You have no idea the journey I've been on with this deck. And it's one of those I never thought I would have. And the fact that she was selling it for $12 was just out of this world amazing. And I did a whole walkthrough video of the Russian deck, and then I deleted it because I'm like, I can't even. But I'm so excited. So that's the deck. We've all seen this deck many, many times. And now I'm going to shuffle for the first time. I did have to, like I said, I did have to put it in order. Why is that backwards? And there's a few kind of dings on the corners a little bit, on the fronts, but I think because it was used, and maybe that's why she was selling it for $12, but it doesn't look like it was used that often, to do anything to it. And I'm probably never going to ruffle shuffle this again, but I'm going to do it as a one-time thing. That was awesome. Just to show you guys what it looked like. And let's pull a card and then we'll go to the book and see what it has to say. I'm so excited. That one was trying to come out. And it's the art. Wow. Oh, you guys. I'm so excited. Now if I can find the book, what I just do with it. Oh my God, it's sitting next to me. So we're going to go to the arts. And they're in alphabetical order in here. And I didn't even look to see if there's past spreads in here at all. How to work with past lives, with the past life oracles. Step 1, clear your cards. Step 2, consecrate the cards. Step 3, ask questions. Choose a card, consult the guidebook. Okay, no spreads. Maybe there's one in the back. Nope. So there's no spreads, but they are in alphabetical order here. So let's get to T. The arts. You have artistic and creative talents. Wow, it already knows me. That desire expression. This card comes to you as a sign that you would do well in an occupation relating to the arts. It also indicates that you were involved in the arts in prior lifetimes, which I have had prior past life readings that prove that. So, which can explain your natural talents in the present, which I always assumed that. That's funny. As a prodigy, you have artistic skills that are innate and don't require training or the need to practice. These inherent abilities have been passed down from prior lives. It's important to explore and give yourself permission to unleash your artistic side. This could lead to a lucrative career or a fulfilling avocation or hobby. So take arts and crafts classes and follow your inner guidance about creativity. Wow, that's awesome. And the fact that I could just pull the book out and read it is awesome as well. But yeah, that is my finally third try. I got the Past Lives Oracle by Doreen Virtue and then Robert L. Wise. I cannot believe this is finally in my hot little hands. I'm so excited. So yeah, and then I'm gonna do a video here in a little bit. I can't stop looking at it. Sorry. I'm gonna do another video in a little bit. It's another past life tarot deck I got. So I'm excited about both of them. I'm glad they both came at the same time. If you guys like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification button so you're alerted to any future videos. And you guys have a good night. Bye.